All right, now we've got the string names. So we got the string names. We know it's low E, then the A string, D string, G, B, and the high E string. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into 3 types of notes. And the 3 types of notes, we're going to relay it to a house. So you'll know what I mean in a second. So the first type of note is called the natural note. So let's just say it, natural note. And that is basically the letter itself. So we know our alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's one of those, or the natural note. And what we're going to relay it to with the house, think of the main floor. So we're going to do a main floor, and that's like right in the middle of the house. So that's where most of the time is spent living, is on that main floor. And then we're going to think of the natural note as right in the middle, that pitch right there. So awesome job. So if we're going to go ahead and take an example. We're going to use the G note. But before we do that, let's go ahead and look at our fretboard a little bit. So if we go right to fret 1, and that's all the way, the closest one to the head. So we have the head right here. A fret, if we move right here to fret 1, it just looks like a little square block. And see, it's indicated by these 2 fret bars here. We'll see that more right there as we go to fret 2. Fret 1 is the closest one to the head. Now, you'll see fret markers. If you see on my guitar, it looks like a little square. Sometimes you might have that, you might have like a dot, or maybe you don't have it. But you might also have a dot right here on top of the fretboard. Now what that's doing is just go ahead and help you navigate. So it just wants to help you navigate along the fretboard. We always start on the odd numbers here. So this one starts on fret 1, then it's going to move to fret 3, to fret 5, fret 7, fret 9, and then we're going to go to fret 12. And that's an even number. It's a little different, but this is called the octave of the string. And we're going to learn about octaves in a later video, so stay tuned for that one. Once we get there, that's basically going to indicate that we're going back through the alphabet. So now we go to fret 15, fret 17. And that's where my fretboard ends with the markers, but you might also have fret 19 or fret 21. So just notice that all the fretboard markers are on odd numbers except for fret 12. And if you see mine, it's just a longer rectangle right there. Okay, so now that we got that, let's go back to fret number 3. So let's start right where the head is. We've got fret 1 here, fret 2, fret 3. Let's take our first finger. Let's go to string number 6. So we got string number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the low E string. Now let's go ahead and play it. That is the G natural note. And remember, just as we relayed it to a house, it's the main floor. So it's the one that's right in the middle. It's just the letter itself. Now let's talk about the second type of note. And the second type of note is called the sharp note. Now the sharp note is just a little bit higher in pitch, but it's still that note. So if we think of the G note, it's still a G note, just a little bit higher in pitch. And we're going to relay that to the house as going upstairs. So we were on the main floor there. That was our natural note. Now we go upstairs, and we're in the sharp note. So let's go ahead and look at the fretboard. Let's start on that G natural note. So we're on fret 3 on the low E string. And now if we move 1 fret coming towards the end of the fret here, so coming towards you, that's going to move up to the sharp note. So let's go up to fret 4, the very next fret, and that is our G sharp note. Remember, G sharp is like the upstairs to the house. And that brings us to the third type of note. And the third type of note is called the flat note. Now the flat note, if you think of the sharp note is going up, the flat note is actually going down. So it starts on that main floor, right in the middle, the natural note, and it goes down in pitch. So it's still a G note. In this case, we're using a G note, but it goes down in pitch, and that is the flat note. So let's go ahead and zoom in. Okay, now let's go to our flat notes. So let's start with the G natural note. And again, we can just call it the G note. We don't need to say natural after it. The only times we need to is with a sharp note or with a flat note. Now we're going to go the opposite direction, going towards the head right here. That's where we're going to get our flat notes, going the opposite direction. So if we're back on the G note, we go 1 fret down to fret 2, and that is our G flat. Again, now let's just recap here. We've got the G note, main floor, the natural note, going up to G sharp, going back, G natural, or just a G note, and then G flat. If we look at these 3 frets, you can think of those as the levels to the house. Main floor, upstairs, main floor, downstairs, the basement. Okay, so now we've got the 3 types of notes. So now with the 3 types of notes, we're going to go into something called whole steps and half steps.